Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Building Our World podcast. Today I had the pleasure of being joined by Gabriele Cacciola, the co-founder and CTO of Ocyan. Now, Ocyan is on a mission to make the relocation process as seamless and stress-free as possible. It was born out of Gabrielle's own relocation struggles, and remarkably, he worked on his business idea with his other co-founder while still in a full-time job as a software engineer. On evenings and weekends, he would code, manage his team, and build on his idea before finally going full-time with the business at the start of 2020. What strikes me in this conversation is his remarkable passion for his idea and the real human problem he is trying to solve. We walk through his journey from software engineer to co-founder and hear all the highs and lows from along the way. I really hope you enjoy this one. I had a lot of fun speaking with him. So let's cut right to it. You created a company that makes the relocation experience better for people moving across borders. You relocated yourself to London back in 2015. So it'd be great if you could explain just who you are, what you do, and how Ocyan helps people just like you were back in the day who right now are relocating.
Oh, nice. Very nice one. So basically, my experience as an expat starts before relocating to London. So I'm a software engineer. I was back in 2014. I was in the process of graduating in my master here in Italy. And I relocated to Australia for 6 months to do 6 months of research at Queensland University of Technology in Brisbane. And that was my first experience, a completely whole new world with, totally different language, different culture, 18,000 kilometers far away from home. Being a student, though, it was, a lightweight one because I didn't need a lot of things that, a worker needs, like bank accounts, bill setup, and stuff like that. When I relocated in London in October 2015, that's where I discovered the burden of relocation and the burden of being an expat. I actually summarized all of those experiences in an article in our Ocyan blog a few weeks ago. But in a few words, I struggled to do anything which is possible to any normal worker. So it took me weeks to open a bank account. It took me months, maybe years actually, to be able to apply successfully for a credit card. I couldn't have any overdraft on my bank account. I was paying extra money on my energy bills, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This is the main driver behind Ocyan and behind our mission. So basically, we are aware that people, when they relocate, they bring everything they care with them. So they bring their stuff, their clothes, their pets, their family, really everything they care. We wonder, why cannot people bring their own data with them? Why I cannot bring my financial history with me and use it to have a better experience when I relocate in a new country? So that's the engine, and that's the vision behind Ocyan.
Okay. So in terms of the actual relocation part of it all, because you joined the company, was it sort of in 2018?
Ocyan.
Part.
I founded Ocyan in 2018. Yes. Before that, I was a software engineer working in a lot of different fields like betting and gaming, advertisement online, and in the past 3.5 to 4 years, I spent most of my time in the financial space. I was a software engineer at ClearScore, which is a big credit scoring and reporting company in UK, and through my work, we were managing successfully more than 12 million people's credit reports. So we were allowing people to actually have better and easier access to credit in the UK. That's where I've built my experience in financial products and all this space, from the financial space generally.
So when you when you relocated, obviously, by the time you founded the company, you probably had got used to everything and, were pretty settled. So what was it really that made you think, I'm really going to help other people? I'm really going to make their process a lot easier for them than it was for me, rather than just, because the easy thing to do would have just stayed in your position and probably risen the ranks. So why did that sort of still carry with you?
Honestly, as you know, expats tend to, go out with other expat people sometimes. Italians meet up with Italians sometimes. And I was going through, it was, listening from my friends as well, that they were having exactly the same struggle that I had years and years before. So imagine now this situation. You migrate to your new country, you try to open a bank account, and they require for you an accommodation, a proof of address. You try to get an accommodation, and they require for you a bank account to pay. Plus, they require you, a letter from your previous landlord, which you don't have in the new country, of course. So everything becomes extremely difficult, even extremely basic stuff, which can be an accommodation and a bank account. And a lot of my friends and people that were trying to relocate in UK, even very experienced professionals in some cases, they were really having this burden and experiencing those issues. When you see that, honestly, an entire community is feeling, pressure and is battling with all those bureaucracy and stuff, you really start thinking that a solution is needed there. We have all the tools and all the information about people nowadays. We have the technology that enables this exchange of information cross country now. Another important thing that is gone out in the past couple of years is GDPR, which offers a legal structure and a legal common field for this data to be exchanged cross-border as well. So why we cannot just have something that makes people's life easier? Like, we're talking about a lot of people every year. More from the studies that we have gone through, we're talking about 13 million people relocating each year just between EU countries. So it's a massive amount of people, massive.
Wow. So you have this need and this idea, and you really see that you want to help people. And you were working full-time at ClearScore at the time in London.
Yes.
Great company, really, really reputable company, high-quality tech team. So how are you going about, whilst having a full-time job, putting this idea into reality and trying to find a solution to the problems that your sort of community are facing?
So again, this is another slightly long process because it requires people, in this case, it required me, to carefully think about it, to understand whether, it's a jump in the dark. Let's be frank on that. You leave your, secure job, you leave your, daily routine to invest a portion of your life in something which might or might not work.
Yeah.
On the other side, honestly, it's something that I've learned at ClearScore. When you have such a motivation, when you really see that there is a space for a solution that can really change people's life, can make their life easier, better, and much more fair than it is now, that's where you find, the right motivation, the right, yes, the right mindset every day when you start. And that's where you embrace the idea of like, I will leave what I'm doing because I want to try go down this road now.
So when the app and the sort of the product was at its inception, would you be sort of coding in the evenings and weekends, or were you getting other people to code?
Oh, at the beginning, yes. So let me go through a bit of a timeline of what happened at Ocean. Ocean started as a pure technology company. So we started as a blockchain company, and we were providing blockchain services. And this was extremely useful to bootstrap the team and to, gain experience and build a network. So we started partnering with ClearScore, with building a network for data exchange over the blockchain. We partnered with Telefonica, the big telco provider between Spain, Latin America, UK, and Germany, for example, and they are one of our investors and partners as well. But with the COVID-19, we back in February, we understood that now the opportunity of building something on top of the actual technology company was really possible. What we understood is that straight after the COVID crisis will solve, and seems like we are on the on the right path now, there will be a lot of people that are aiming to relocate straight away. They are financial expats, and they are just gonna roam around Europe in order to find a new job, new positions, a new economical place where they can stay. This means that we can capture this opportunity, we can help those people, and we can we can really facilitate their movement cross country and facilitating the integration between EU countries as well. Back to your question, actually, when did we start Ocean and how did we start? Yes, we did start with Sacrifice, coding overnight, coding in our spare time, and for a long period of time, I was full-time employed at ClearScore, and at the same time leading the team at Ocean as well. It was, it's something that you can do only if you have a massive amount of passion and love for what you do and for the mission that you're trying to achieve. At the same time, I've been extremely lucky because ClearScore gave us the opportunity to develop something in-house for ClearScore as Ocean, and this has helped us a lot because we have gained a lot of experience, a lot of network, and basically gave us the possibility to get together a small team of people, which is still the core team of Ocean behind the technology product and the financial product, which is the Ocean data product we are discussing now, the Expats Fund.
Were ClearScore okay with you doing all this side projects and this business and using their network to essentially, hopefully, get your business off the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they were amazing, and I cannot thank them enough, honestly, because they gave me all the flexibility that I wanted. I could build my own project and team on the side without impacting what were my performances at work with them. I was still hitting my OKRs, and at the same time, I was given maximum flexibility in terms of balancing my work and my startup. In a very elastic way. Like I really only can spend beautiful words for what we have done there. I'm extremely happy of my period with them and wish them all the best possible, especially during this period.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one thing, you finish your job, you're coding for your business, but you built a team. Was it up to around 8 to 10 people whilst you're working full time? It's not just because with coding, I'm not a coder, but I know it's labor intensive, but managing people is a real ball ache sometimes. So to have that level of workload there must have been some challenging moments for you. I mean, how did you sleep? Or when did you sleep?
Okay. Let's start in this way. First of all, I hired my team, especially the core team, within my personal network. So every engineer that has been picked up in the first 6 months has been really literally cherry picked. This means that I trust them completely, even because I'm a coder myself, but of course I know that some of my engineers are way more talented than I am. And this means that I can trust them completely when it's a matter of choosing technologies, implementing solutions, and things like that. I understand that my role now is to facilitate their work, is to make sure that they are productive as much as possible, that they don't have any interruption, and that they can produce the amazing things that we develop at Ocean to maximize the benefit for our customers. Having said that, of course, managing people is always a tough task. It requires a lot of skills, and 99% of them you have to learn them, on the way. But when you choose your people, not only basing your assumption on the amount of skills, technical skills that they have, but you choose people, we check carefully, making sure that they can be onboarded in the team pretty easily, that they will be, helping each other, that they bring the right mindset, and that they are trustful, and you rely on them. Then honestly, managing this bunch has been, how can I say, a pleasure so far, has been an honor and a pleasure so far. So honestly, that's not the thing that stresses me the most. Like, me and my team, we are really together in this, and that's amazing. That's really amazing.
And is it a remote team at the moment, or have you got an office space now?
So
obviously
back
now
in
it'd be
March,
remote.
well, yeah, obviously now it is remote. Back in March, as part of the investment that we got with Telefonica, we relocated in their Piccadilly Circus office in Eyre Street, to be precise, which is very nice. Unfortunately, we couldn't spend much time there because COVID happened. So we have been there for just a bunch of weeks, like a couple of weeks, no more. And we're really looking forward to it, to going back to it. But now the team is quite sparse between Italy, Scotland, where my co-founder lives, London, and here and there, basically.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned your co-founder. It's one thing I wanted to ask. So, how did this particular partnership come about?
So I met Evangelos back in 2015 or 16, I don't remember now. I think it was 16, when we were working together at Vibrant Media. We were both part of the tech team. That's where we met. Then, of course, at a certain point, journey, we separated, but we kept in touch. And when we, both him and me, we share this entrepreneurial mindset. I really enjoy innovation, of course, in technology the most, because that is my field. And he is really passionate about bringing new ideas on the table, trying to, always move a step forward and stuff like that. So when you find two people that are passionate about visioning what the future could be and trying to make it happen, that's the necessary spark that is needed in order to build a relationship like the one that I have with him. Yes, so we started back in 2016. We kept in touch, and 2018 we just joined forces in order to build Ocean.
And assuming my research is correct, you've now raised two funding rounds pre-seed.
We have raised two funding rounds pre-seed, yes. One with Q Ventures and Telefonica. The second one, we are actually finalizing it in those days. But yeah, an announcement will follow really in a matter of days or a couple of weeks, no more.
Okay. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be in the open anyway.
Hopefully, yes.
If not, I'm sure we can edit this out. Now, I speak to different founders, and every founder has a different story of how they secured their first funding round. Usually their face lights up when they talk about it, because it was almost a funding round is almost validation of your idea and validation of your product market fit. So for that first bit of money, what was your process of getting in front of the right people and essentially winning them over?
So I will be, skipping some steps here and there because some of those steps have been managed by my co-founder mostly. But yeah, basically we started working with Telefonica because we joined their accelerator, Weira. Uh, During the period in the accelerator, we got to meet the blockchain team, which is located in Madrid, and we found some common ground between the Ocean infrastructure product, the blockchain product, and their roadmap. This means that basically we could join forces, and this is where our pre-seed round starts. We wanted Telefonica and the blockchain team needed a partner which would take care of the blockchain infrastructure uh, in their projects on their own cloud, which is Cloud Garden. And we were the right solution for them. So that's where the magic started with this pre-seed round. Amazingly, not only Telefonica joined, but even a venture capital angel fund, which is Q Ventures.
So when that money hits the account, what's the process of knowing what to spend it on? Because I imagine, because you raise one round and then almost the clock starts ticking for you to raise your next round, and you have to obviously make that money work in that time. So how's the thought process in deciding where that money goes?
So first thing first, I would expect a company to have the plan rolled out before the money hits the bank account.
Yeah.
I will explain myself. Basically, when you put yourself in front of an investor, it is normal that you have to expose. Okay, I'm trying to raise this much because I will use this much to do A, B, and C, and with this A, B, and C, I will have this amount of return back, which hopefully is more than what you raise. Otherwise, yeah, they will not be really happy. Having said that, of course, things change, but most of the plan on how am I supposed to spend those money should be already in place before actually an investor says yes or no, like when you present it. So yes, we were knowing in advance how to place the money. And I tell you actually another thing. Usually when we raise, we put an objective for the round. So we say, okay, we are raising this round, for example, the latest round, in order to boost our marketing capacity, for example. And what we want to achieve has to be extremely measurable. So we say, okay, we are spending this much in marketing because before the end of the year, we want to reach, I don't know, 10,000 users. And out of them, we want to have 1,000 recurring users month over month. So this is the kind of balance that we try to strike. Speaking with investors, we propose very clear and measurable KPIs, and in this way, they can understand where is this money going to be allocated and which kind of advantage we're expecting out of this investment. And that makes the conversation much easier with them.
Yeah. In terms of the actual financial plan, how much difference was there between the plan and what actually happened with that particular round?
Well, we got the money in January 2020, and of course, COVID didn't really help.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we have gone through tough times.
Yeah.
As everybody, tell you the truth, our choice for the good or for the bad was not to leave anyone behind. So none of our employees has experienced any salary cut. Some of them, of course, have been furloughed, unfortunately, but we have top up their salary such that they didn't experience any loss or any change in their financial situation. And this is extremely important for us because there is people behind numbers, and yes, we are a team, first thing first, and we are together in this. But yeah, of course, most of the money that we got from that round has been spent into trying to survive the COVID situation. And that's the reason why now in September we are racing again, because we're closing the second round, because most of the first round has been, burned and eaten by COVID.
Mm. Mm. You talk about, you talk with great love about your team and the passion you have for them, and a lot of people had to furlough staff. So how have you kept the company and the team together when everyone's in different parts of the world and some are not working, some are?
Well, my little recipe there is, we have been always extremely transparent with them.
Mm.
They are aware of our financial situation. Every 2 weeks, we hold a small, of course, we are a small company, so it's a very small all hands meeting where every employee is invited. We actually show financials there, so numbers. For example, showing that we have a certain amount of investment left. We have these expenses. That's how we invest the money. That's everything is transparent to them. This brings a bi-directional trust between what they do and how we manage the situation. We are open to suggestions, of course. We are very much aware that me and my co-founder hold the responsibility of everything, but we really have a nice and open, transparent engagement with everyone that works with us. And this helped us a lot put together the team, even when the team has been, relocated all around Europe. And when we had to make hard choices, everybody understood why it was done, and he could double check that what we were saying was completely true.
Yeah, showing numbers, I think, is such a good way of just bringing your team almost into your journey, into your thought process, because there are a few companies out there that they'll make these decisions and they'll probably be for the benefit of the business. But if people don't know the numbers or where the founders or the directors are coming from, then it just creates a distrust. And I think miscommunication in business is one of the biggest problems right now, especially during this remote crisis. I did want to just bring it back to just before COVID-19 hit. So you got your funding in January, and then you left ClearScore in February to go full time. And then in March, this pandemic hits.
Yeah,
What is going through your mind?
What a wonderful time! What a wonderful time to start a new adventure. Yes. Anyway, dude, what can I say on that? It's been tough. But I'm not gonna hide myself. We're doing all the best to pull through this situation, and this will be the case for sure. But obviously, uh, obviously, nobody was planning for all this to happen. When you build this kind of companies, when you run a startup, when you are in this situation, of course you have plan A, B, C, up to most probably, you know, plan K or something. COVID
Yeah.
is required plan X, I think. It was so far behind. It was so far, from what we would expect from 2020. And this meant taking, accelerate the roadmap a bit, so creating the new product straight away. It meant, again, having to rebalance people and effort and locations and learn how to, run a team remotely in a matter of days rather than months. And it is a challenge from many points of view, from the social point of view, from the interactions point of view, from the security point of view. Like it's been challenging for everyone, honestly. But I think that we just, instead of keep complaining about what could have been and it's not gonna be, we can definitely adapt to the new world now. We can definitely take this opportunity to build a much better new one, and yes, like let's just look ahead instead of looking behind. Yes.
Yeah, so this pandemic's definitely shown how good humans are at adapting into this new world. But I mean, I remember it almost crept up on us, and there was a week, especially in England, where it was just sort of Europe's problem. It was China's problem, and then all of a sudden, this kind of panic set in. Do you kind of remember those few days where, well, it was sort of all consuming, and you thought, right, we've got to do something now? And how did you and your co-founder sort of mentally get your heads around it?
Yes, I do. Because basically, I went back to Italy beginning of February after a couple of days in Amsterdam for a business meeting with one of the potential customers that we had back at the time, and it was a very big company in the oil and gas space, in the energy space, and most probably actually. I went back to Italy for a couple of weeks. That was the plan, at least 3 weeks. And after 10 days, COVID arrived in Italy, 21st of Feb. I remember speaking with my co-founder, trying to understand what is going on. And the thing, honestly, that I remember the most is the fact that everything precipitated into lockdown, at least in Italy, in a matter of, honestly, 72 hours or so. It was, in these cases, honestly, there is no chances that you can have a prompt response business-wise, neither if you're as small as we are. Yeah, I think that Italy got in lockdown between 5th of March to 8th of March. 8th of March we were already in lockdown. It was unbelievable, appalling. The situation just precipitated from normal life to a completely new world where you have to understand, oh, what do I do now? One of the first things that I did, actually, in order to avoid any of my people in London, any person of my team, to take any risk. Of course, we told them, guys, just work from home because the situation might get worse. And at the same time, we asked to remove access to the office, to the IT guy that are to the office managers there in A Street, because I didn't want to risk anyone to just catching something in any way. So that was most probably the first thing that we did, the first precaution we took, and it was beginning of March, like honestly, the first week of March. I think we were one of the first, even speaking with some other co-founders, other startups, and big companies. I think we were one of the first to encourage people to stay home and stay safe. We were not expecting, of course, 2 months of lockdown, but we were on the safe side on that. Like, we wanted to be cautious on that. So that's definitely the first thing that we did. We moved the team to be completely remote, and yeah, that was it.
Were you able to get a discount off on your office space? Or did you have a rolling contract? Because I know there was a lot of people who had tied themselves in for 2-3 year deals, and
our
really
office space. Our office space came with the investment, as part of the investment as well. So we will need. So we didn't pay for it. Not we didn't pay month over month. But we, in the next few weeks, I guess, if everything gets better, we will most probably try to discuss our deal again, because obviously we didn't have the chance to do much in that space, as it's been closed straight after we arrived. So it will be a matter of discussion with them. I'm sure that we will find a solution. Honestly, I have no doubt on that.
And I know you pivoted as well at this time to focus on, it happened slightly before, to focus on people relocating and expats and things like that. Back in March, it could have been feasible for people to say people will never relocate again. The world will be remote forever. I don't think that's going to be the case at all, and it definitely isn't now. But the world was very different in March. Everyone was panicking and everyone was staying at home, and that could have been the future of work, because we didn't know how dangerous the virus was. Did you ever think that could be the case? And obviously, if that's the case, then your product or your service wouldn't be as relevant as it used to be?
Well, definitely, I don't think that this is going to be the case. Otherwise, I wouldn't build up.
No, neither do I. But in March,
back in March, no, neither in March, honestly.
Okay.
And I tell you why. Because yes, I see of course, the beneficial part of staying home, working remotely 5 days out of 5 every week, work from home and stuff like that. At the same time, I do see the importance of getting together at least a few times a week in order to bring the team up, build this social relationship that is totally, absolutely necessary between people that work together and pull in the same direction. I do see the amount of benefit that comes from meeting a commercial partner or an investor face to face. I do see the importance of yes, I do see the importance of all that. So I believe that finally, maybe finally, we can move out of schemes like physical presence 9 hours per day in an office in central London. But I do not see, I might be wrong on that, but I do not see the benefit of completely moving out of shared space where people can exchange ideas, they can brainstorm together, they can build relationships, they can build partnerships. Like me and Evangelos were, like when we met 5 years ago, we were no more than colleagues taking a coffee together in the lunch break or something like that. So I do see the importance of doing those things again and again and again. At the same time, I do see the possibility that people will spend much more time, a portion of their week working from home, and I do see the benefits, and I think it's absolutely necessary that people do that. But no, I don't see a total replacement of this situation with remote working. No.
No. Yeah, I think it's a balance, isn't it? People don't want to be stuck at home all the time, but they want to have the option. And also just if we take the City of London as an example,
Yeah, of course.
people going to the office, there's a whole economy around it. I mean, there's about probably 1,000 pret-a-manger's per square mile in central London. They've all got to keep going, and the whole ecosystem around that. So it's quite important for people to get back to work from an economic point of view.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
now,
yes.
so now we're almost not coming out of this crisis, but the world's adapting to this new world of work, and the economy is hopefully recovering. One thing that struck me is that you've got a huge amount of passion and love for what you do and for what the company is doing. So what is the next few years going to look like for the business? Because a business as well, is about profitability and making money. So how are you combining that passion with, that business sense to make it work long term?
Okay, so let me explain a little bit what is the Ocean commercial model and how do we envision this product in the next few years. As of today, Ocean offers a bridge between EU and especially UK and only one country in Europe, which is Germany. So we do facilitate the people and expats that want to relocate to Germany. Why Germany? For several reasons. One of them is that we could find the best partner package. So we have a full package we can offer a full package of bank accounts, insurances, health insurances, deposit insurances, mobile contracts, and all the shebang for Germany. And we generally want to offer the best products to our or the most tailored products to our customers. So at the moment, anybody that signs up in our service will be able to, if he's willing to move to Germany, will be able to see a full fledged of products that go from bank accounts to insurances to mobile contracts, everything that is needed in order to relocate. Straight before you relocate or in the first 6 to 12 months after you relocate. What we aim to do is we aim to expand both geographically and vertically. Geographically, what does it mean? We want to cover more countries within EU, and we want to cover more bridges bidirectionally. So we want, for example, if the bridge for now is to go, for example, from UK to Germany, we definitely want to build a bridge from Germany to UK and have a package for I have a good coverage of countries within EU, at least the first 8 to 10 countries in terms of relocation numbers and expat numbers. And this would cover more or less 80% of the 13 million people that relocate every year. What does it mean, though? This is the horizontal expansion, the geographical expansion. What does it mean for us to have a vertical expansion? It means the following. What we are trying to achieve is we are integrating with credit bureaus and data holding companies that manage financial data, people's financial data. So credit reports, so open banking data, so identity verification data and things like that. What we want from Ocean is we want people to be able to bring their own data with them and use when they relocate and use this data in the new country in order to apply for financial products. As of today, with my UK financial history, if I'm willing to relocate to Germany, I wouldn't be able to bring my credit report with me in Germany and say to Deutsche Bank, for example, you see, I've been a good guy in the past 5 years. Can you give me a new credit card with a decent APR? Is the annual rate, percentage rate. that's not something that I'm able to do today. We want to build this kind of thing, and we want to use this data as well to find the most suitable product for those people that are willing to relocate, such that they come to our platform, they know that they will have a list of tasks. So we want to drive them and to help them and guide them during relocation, not only in the financial space, but in general, with all the burden of relocating, which includes, moving your furnitures, changing your address and things like that. And we want to use all this data in order to support you, give you the best product possible on the market, and let you experience, as less burden as possible or as less shock as possible in the relocation between the two countries.
Mm. And with the person relocating, is it like a subscription or is it like a one-off fee they would pay? How does the pricing work?
It is completely free for people and will always be free for customers.
So if I'm a software engineer and I have an idea like you did, a passion, and I see a problem that desperately needs to be solved for the right sorts of people, what advice would you give to someone who is in your situation that maybe you wish you'd known when you were kind of starting out on this particular journey?
So first thing first, if you're a software engineer and you got an idea, you are in an amazing position because you not only have an idea that you need to, of course, you need to test, but it might be a good one, but you have all the skill set that is necessary to, taste the water at the very beginning. So my suggestion, first thing first, is to understand whether this need is actually real. So if anybody else perceives this need or it's just a feeling of yours, and there is plenty of tools to help you do that. It's very easy to create mailing lists, to put up a website and collect people's will to integrate with you and to use your service if it's a B2C, of course. There is there is plenty of opportunities in terms of use of marketing and advertisement. Even if you're not a market expert, you can slowly start carefully, because marketing is a pretty expensive thing, but you can carefully start using the various advertising platforms like Google Ads, Facebook Ads, etc., depending on your target audience. But most importantly, yes, my suggestion would be, you have an idea, define a minimum viable product, so define something that you can implement in a very short period of time, define some KPIs, so some metrics and some objectives for this MVP, and then just go from there. Like, if you reach those objectives, then you can move a step forward and validate another objective, so another assumption that you have, and step by step. It needs to be an iterative product, an iterative process. It is frustrating. In a lot of cases, you will fail. You will take the wrong assumptions. You will, maybe the execution of your assumption is poor, so you will need to go backtrack and try another way or try another solution and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my suggestion. Minimize the scope, put it live, put it in front of people, see what is the reaction, and iterate.
Did this strategy and this knowledge, is this something that came naturally to you in terms of that entrepreneurial mindset, MVP and iteration? Or was it just about the idea and the problem that you saw? Or if this idea passed you by and you didn't think of it, in a couple of years' time, were you going to start, something else? Was it about you wanting to be entrepreneurial, or is it more about the problem you saw?
it is more about the problem I solve, most probably. It is basically when you decide to go down this path of running a startup, you have to be aware that it's going to be frustrating, stressful, and full of troubles. I don't know. I want to suggest a read to the following book. Hopefully, most of the people that are hearing this podcast will know who is Ben Horowitz, and they will know his book, The Hard Things of Hard Things, where he explains all the bumps down the road of building a 1.5 or $6 million company back in the early 2000s. What he explains there, he explains basically transparently, finally, in a book, how frustrating and exciting at the same time has been his journey as an entrepreneur. He went through the dot-com crisis. He went through a couple of acquisitions, an IPO, and it was a journey, full of bumps. So what drives you through those bumps is definitely motivation. Like when you get a private message in your Facebook page from somebody that says, "Oh, I was trying to get a bank account since a month and a half, and with you guys, I could get a bank account in 5 minutes. Thank you very much. You've made my day." That every frustration passes, and you just want to have the next one. That is true. Seeing your creature grow makes you feel a superhero, even when things are when you're struggling with money, when there is the COVID crisis, when you need to furlough people, and so on and so forth.
Having that validation, and when you put something out there and people,
yes, that's so paramount.
Give you great. Yeah, absolutely. We've talked a lot about the beginnings and the future, but more in the short term. What about you? And again, it's about your passion and the problem you wanted to solve. But if we're talking 10, even 20, 30 years down the line, in my old job, the non-exec director always said something that really stuck with me. It wasn't so much where do you see yourself in 20 or 30 years, it was almost visualizing it. So you wake up, what do you see? You in a big house? Are you in a small house? Are you abroad? Is there nice cars? I know it's not about that, but it's almost that visualization and that standard you want in your life. So for you, when you are 20 or 30 years down the line, what do you see and what do you envision in your life? Do you want someone to come along and write you a check for 50 million euros in 10, 20 years and you move on to your next thing?
That's a very good question. Of course, as everybody, a little bit of stability wouldn't hurt, but that's not the main point. I want to make sure that in 30 years from now, I'm still doing something all day that makes me feel proud of what I do. And that's the most important thing. I love what I do in a way that cannot be described. As an engineer and as an innovator, hopefully. And I hope that in 30 years I will have the same enthusiasm. I will share the same enthusiasm that I have now. Possibly driving a nice car, but that doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah.
What really matters is that I for the kind of person I am, I need motivation more than money. Otherwise, I cannot be motivated if I don't do something that is, making me feel proud of what I do. Like, That's the most important thing. That's what makes me wake up every day. The day I'm not doing this for too many days in a row means that I have to change something.
The people who chase the money and just do it for the money are never the ones that.
No, I mean money are an important tool. Let's not be let's not be realistic. Monies are extremely important, but money are a tool, not a destination. They need to be
Yeah.
used carefully. They need to be treated with respect, but they need to be used. Otherwise, yeah, like we need to make sure that we use the only asset that we have in a very precious way. And the only asset that we have, honestly, is really time. It's not money. Money comes as a consequence, and they need to be used carefully with respect, but they need to be used when it's necessary.
Do you think this will be your first and your last business? Or is there more to come? Are there more ideas knocking around?
Uh, I'll tell you something. When you are in love with someone, you cannot envision the next relationship because in Italy we say that love is
I like that.
forever. Love is forever until it lasts, isn't it? And like that's the same thing. Your business is forever until it lasts.
That's a great analogy. That is a great way of putting it.
Believe
Amazing.
me, it's really a very very similar passion. Like believe
Yeah.
me. I'll take another
No.
quote from Ben Horowitz actually, where he was saying that in an interview, I think, and it was on YouTube, I think, not on the book. Basically, they asked, "How do you describing all the dot com during the dot com crisis?" Of course, his company went through a lot of bumps, and so the interviewer asked, "How did you sleep? You have tough times. You need to fire hundreds of people. How do you sleep how can you sleep, first of all, and how do you sleep during those periods?" And he answered that, "Oh, you actually sleep like a baby. You wake up every 3 hours and you cry." So that's the thing. That's the kind of analogy. Yes, it's the same passion that you share with a person from a certain point of view. It's yeah, your business is part of yourself. You build your business
Yeah.
as your business card, and yeah, like, that's why the analogy is the same from other points of view as well. Yes, a business is forever until it lasts.
That's brilliant. I'm going to get that framed. Well, we'll wrap up very, very soon. But thank you so much for your time. As someone myself who has relocated people to Berlin and Germany for quite a few years now, there is such a need for a service like yourself. People are so at sea when they move over. They could get all the help and all the internet research they can do, but to have something holding their hand along the way gives people such peace of mind. And I've seen and heard of some really horrendous relocation experiences, and really do think you're solving a very human problem. And I really admire the passion and the love for what you do. If someone did want to get in touch with you for whatever reason, for anything we've discussed, would LinkedIn be the best way?
Yes, you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I always answer to everybody,
Okay.
almost.
Yeah, you must get quite a lot
But
of spam as well.
we tend to get a lot of spam, yes, but usually we do. Let me share something here. I really want to invite everybody who is relocating to have a look at our service, not only
Yep.
because it's free, but because we are looking forward to hearing what people need from our service. How can we make a better service? What is the thing that you need the most? And we'll find a way to implement it. But we are extremely keen on helping everybody who is going through this journey. And all of our team actually, shares with you this burden because we are all experts ourselves. So we really know how tough is those periods when you need to relocate, when you need to establish yourself in a new country. And we really want to tackle some of the challenges that we have. On some of them, we cannot do much, but on some others, we definitely can be helpful there. So we are extremely open, and actually we are willing to hear everybody's feedback. And we value your time and your experience as very much, very, very much.
Yep. Feedback in business, especially at the start, is like absolute gold dust.
Yes.
I will put the link to your website as well with this episode. I know a lot of people who I think would take a lot of interest in what you're doing. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. And I know a lot of people will get a lot of value from it. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Building Our World podcast. To show your support and to stay up to date, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.